Today, let's talk about how to give a good resignation. And really, someone will be asking, is a resignation even a good thing? And how can I give a good resignation? Yeah, the reason I want to just share this topic briefly is because during resignation, most employees really or rather most employees really find themselves in a state where they have to trigger emotions. And it's not only employees, even employers. There's a way that sometimes employers fail, or rather do not treat employees right at the point of resigning. So let's start. For this video, I just want us to share how I'm not going deep on what or the wrong things that employers does at the point an employee resigns, but I just want to share how you as an employee can ensure that you give a respectful resignation and still maintain a relationship even if you're leaving an employer. So the most important thing that you really need to do is to remove emotions out of a resignation. Well, before it really gets to the time that you're resigning, you've thought about it. You have had some months of looking for a job. And when it gets to the point of resigning, most of it is really not that it's something you thought about yesterday, especially if you're resigning to go to another job, or even if you're resigning just to go and even if you're resigning maybe because of a toxic workplace, you've just decided to resign even without a job. It is not always a thought that come overnight, or it's not just something that you think about and take a resignation. So the most important thing that you need to ensure is that even as you resign, you need to keep a relationship. You need to keep a relationship with this employer, irrespective of how they have treated you, because really you never know what the future holds or what it will look like when you go to another employer. So I just want to share key points that you need to put into consideration, and one of them being, do not resign or do not attach emotions to a resignation. The emotions usually come in terms of or come as giving very rude resignations. Have you ever seen people who put, maybe just give like a one line, a very rude resignation? The other time I had shared on my LinkedIn, there was a picture of someone who done a resignation on a tissue paper. I don't know whether it was real or maybe someone had just created content out of that, but whoever did it, maybe, or that piece of tissue paper was just reflecting how many employees quit workplaces or quit or leave their employers, made their employers buy in a very rude way. So if you're resigning, really remove emotions out of it and never ever be rude when giving a resignation, because at the end of the day, you will or you may need this employer as a referee in the future, even for your coming employment. What happens if you leave in bad terms? They will not be able to give in a good word for you, and this will affect your future opportunities. This will make you not even get opportunities that at the last minute, just due to a bad reference. So remember, never to attach any emotions to it and never be rude at all. And also another thing, I was actually just thinking about it this morning before I made this video, is most of the time I see employees just sending their resignations to HR while this employee has a line manager. I think it is good practice to inform your line manager first. And guys, if you know the saying that people don't leave organizations, people leave managers. So it is really not HR who is losing a staff, or HR who is sending a staff away. I'm looking for the right word to use. Is really not, a staff is not leaving HR. So when you're resigning, please have a conversation with your line manager first before you send it to HR, because I see most employees sending their resignations directly to HR without even copying their line managers or without even informing their line managers. I believe a good exit is where you as an employee, you've made up your mind you're leaving, which is okay. But now you need to have a conversation with the line manager. Tell them, I want to leave, your line manager or your supervisor, I want to leave because of 1, 2, 3, and here is my resignation letter. Instead of just waking up, your line manager is just maybe being called by HR that so and so resigned. Really, it doesn't give a good picture. Even if you are having issues with your line manager, I think the proper thing to do, just still in the spirit of not leaving an employee in bad terms, have a conversation with your line manager and let them know that you have intentions to leave the company. Another thing that you also need to consider when you're giving your resignation is to, because always give notice. Even though most contracts, especially in Kenya, the contract says that you can give notice or you can pay in lieu of notice. So when you're paying in lieu, of notice, you're paying the employer, whether it was the notice period. If it was 1 month, you pay the 1 month salary. If it was 2 weeks or 1 week, you pay that that salary that is equivalent to that week. But why I say that it is important to give notice and possibly serve that notice, because here you're with an employer where you are assigned some tasks and responsibilities, that if you leave an employer today, of course, there will be a gap. No, it doesn't mean that employer will not be able to replace you. Of course, they'll always replace you, but it causes a whole lot of disorganization. So it is important that when you don't just wake up, resign, throw in your resignation, get lost, or don't come to work, or even give resignations over phone, or even send emails when you're at home, it is not nice. It is not courteous. It is not respectful. And even as you quit, as you leave this employer, imagine this is someone who's been this is a place that has been your source of livelihood. This employer, you've been here for 1 year, 3 years, 2 years, even 10 years. This is a person that has been typically paying for all your bills. So when it comes to the point of exiting, why do you live like it's been a hell of something, or you've been in a hot plate and you're just now getting relief? So it is really important, guys, that you give notice and serve that notice whenever possible. And the last thing as I finish this video is that at the point of resigning, please don't badmouth the employer. There are some people who are very toxic. Allow me to use the word toxic. There are some employees who are very toxic, that when it comes to their time of leaving the organization is the time they want to badmouth. And what you typically do as you badmouth that employer is that, and you're influencing these other people who are remaining, and you tend to cause some sort of, I don't know what to call it, peer pressure, where everyone will begin feeling that this employee is bad, this place is too toxic, and you begin influencing others even to maybe want to leave or something. So if you've decided to leave, and if you're leaving maybe because you have an issue with an employer, it is important that you have a sit down, have a very candid conversation, give your feedback. That's why we have the exit interviews, to provide you with time to give your feedback and just tell the employer this and this didn't work. And of course, even as they endeavor to improve, they need to consider those areas. Not that at the point that you're leaving, you now want to talk bad and influence every other person who is remaining, making them feel that the employer or the workplace is very toxic. So yeah, so I hope you guys have gotten it. That's what I wanted to share, that next time if you think of giving a resignation, it is not bad to resign. We all have to grow. We all have to get greener pastures. We all have to experience different industries, this different environment. We all have to get jobs that align to our passions. And it is not a crime when you resign. Let us not treat it like the time of resignation is now the time that you break a long relationship that you've had with your employer. So thank you so much for watching. And guys, I make more videos on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please you consider doing that. Thank you.